So I'm joined by two-time world champion Jessie Vargas, who is fighting Adrian Broner in the main event of the April 21 Showtime Championship boxing card from the Barclays Center. Jessie, how are you feeling about a month before you're set to step into the ring?
So excited, man. Especially now that you mentioned it, you sounded like an announcer, man. That is announcing the fight, and I feel excited, man. Especially now that you just mentioned April 21st at the Barclays Center on Showtime. Man, it's going to be a great night of boxing. You have in the main event, of course, myself, Adrian Broner. In the co-main event, you're going to have Hugo Centeno against one of the Toro brothers. It's going to be a great night of boxing. You have Jay Leon Love fighting against Peter Quillen. It's a good show. It's a good show for the boxing fans, and they should come out. You're going to get their money's worth come April 21st.
Now you're certainly very excited about this particular fight and the whole event, as you should, and everyone in the boxing community should. You fought a lot of your big fights in California and Las Vegas, but now this is your first time fighting in New York as a pro. So how does it feel fighting on the East Coast on this particular city in the Big Apple for this big boxing event?
Well, you're right. It's the first time that I've traveled to New York for a fight of my own. But, I've been to East Coast several times. I fought in Philadelphia. I fought in Washington, D.C. And, man, we've had, great, successful nights out there when we have gone out. And I became the two-time world champion in March of 2016 in Washington, D.C., which is very close to New York. And I hope that come April 21st, we'll be able to come home with another big victory and an explosive, entertaining fight for the fans. We're preparing ourselves to get that victory come April 21st. We have a great team that we have put together. We have Mike McCullum, he is known as the body snatcher. He was the 4 division world champion in his time, and he's a man that's very knowledgeable. He's been around the sport for so many years, and I'm lucky to have him on my side in my corner. I also have Stitch Duran working with me. My father, of course, Jessie Vargas, David Levy, and we have a great team. And Mike has been bringing out the best in me, reminding me on several different things to continue doing inside the ring, also perfecting the technique and adding some of his tricks to my game. And I feel great. I feel better than ever. I'm 28 years old, and I feel that this is the next chapter in my career. I've had a lot of success, but now I feel that I'm in my prime, with plenty of experience, and a wide future ahead of me that I can really capitalize on April 21st, and from then on, only bigger and better things. It's a big year, and I'm looking forward to 2018.
Of course, you actually touch on a thing I wanted to ask next about with Mike McCallum and you having Stitch Duran in your team. If I recall, you've had Mike since maybe your last fight in December against Aaron Herrera. So how has he and Stitch sort of been helping you, and what kind of advice or what kind of wisdom has he given you that certainly helped you in your last fight and certainly helping you in preparing for this fight against Broner?
Well, in the last fight, we didn't have much time to work together. We had about 3.5 weeks. But in that short time, he was able to help me get better as a fighter. And I believe that the fans and the people that tuned in to see the fight, they noticed a difference in me. And now we have a full-on camp together, and he's been teaching me numerous things, which I love. And I'm a student of the sport no matter what, no matter how much time you've been in the sport, you can always improve one way or another. That's the way I feel, and that's what Mike McCullum is doing in my corner. He's only helping me gain more knowledge in the sport and as a fighter. I'm protecting my skills, and when it comes to Stitch and Mike, they work well together because Stitch actually worked with Mike when he was fighting. And, that actually brings back a chemistry that they had then, which now they're on the same page, and it's great. It's absolutely great. My entire team is very happy with what we're working on, and he has been studying Adrian Broner, and he has been switching a few things around here and there and maybe adding different punches or different techniques that he feels will be very beneficial in the fight against Broner. Broner is a explosive fighter. He's fast. He's strong, but he doesn't have the team that I have. I have a great team, and I'm a very talented fighter. Anytime we between first, he's in for a big surprise. I've been working on a lot of power, explosive, and speed as well. And what can I say? Everything's been coming along great, to be honest. This has been the best camp that I've had in my career, and I'm very happy with how everything is going. We're bringing down the weight because, of course, we have to make 144. We're in a comfortable position at the moment, and it couldn't be going any better, thankfully. I'm blessed to have the team that I have. We're ready for Broner. We're ready to come out victorious April 21st.
So, of course, you weren't not the original opponent for Broner. He was supposed to fight Omar Figueroa, but then he suffered the shoulder injury. So when news of his injury appeared and showed up everywhere in the boxing media, how did you find out about the potential opening? How did that fight came about? Were you already training for another fight, or were you already just in shape and just trying to see what was out there for your first fight in 2018?
Well, I always stay in shape. That's the thing about me. I stay in shape year-round. And I had just had a fight in December. So when my advisors called me and offered me the fight, they asked if I was ready and if I was willing to take it and what I thought about the fight. And, of course, I thought that it was a great fight for the fans, and his style and my style put together would make for an entertaining matchup. But I said, let's do it. And thankfully, everything got official a few days after I had accepted, and I'm glad that it was able to get confirmed. But I feel that I'm going to show that I'm the more talented fighter coming April 21st. I've been, the minute that they offered it to me, I thought I was a better fighter. I'm going to show it April 21st.
I've been following you on social media, and a lot of people who follow you on social media know that you do like to give your takes on a lot of fights happening. I've seen you talk about and tweet about the Wilder-Ortiz fight and Kovalev's last fight. So I'm gonna put you on the spot and give you the analysis hat. So what have you seen from Broner in his last couple of fights, maybe against Mikey Garcia or Adrian Granados, that you thought that you could have the upper hand of the fight? Is there anything that within Broner's style that favors for you?
Several things. He has different styles. That's the thing. He can come out and he can try and outbox his opponent, move around the ring, and just basically using his distance. Or he can also put the pressure on and attack with strong, explosive punches. He can also take a punch. We all know this. The thing is that he takes a lot more punches than I do, that's for sure. What I mean by that is he's willing to take a punch, and I prefer to know exactly where I'm at, what I'm doing. I see the ring differently rather than he does. See the fight differently. What I mean the ring is, having that ring generalship of knowing and having control. It's something that is different between him and I. But, weaknesses, weaknesses you're going to find out. The weaknesses come April 21st. I can call them out and see them now. But the thing is that come fight night, that's the live shot. You get what I'm saying? We can plan for something, but come April 21st, it's a live moment, and then you have to be ready for whatever comes to you. And that's the thing, any fighter that is preparing for any opponent has to be ready for a wild card, because anything could happen, and that's exactly what I'm getting ready for. Whether he wants to try and outbox me, he wants to put the pressure on, he's going to find difficulties in any style that he wants to come out with. And that makes me feel very positive. I just feel that I'm a better fighter.
Now, this is your first fight of 2018. Last year, you only had one fight against Aaron Herrera, and you had maybe about a year, 13 months of a layoff between your last two fights. Was there any particular reason for the layoff, or was it just a matter you wanted to take some time to rest, reevaluate certain things in your career, or any other reason?
Yeah, I thought that I needed some time off. I honestly did. I've been hitting the gym hard since 2008. And, no, actually, 2007, but let's say 2008 when my professional career began, and I never stopped until 2017. I took some time off. I was able to really evaluate what I had going and what was next and what I wanted, not only in my boxing career but in life. And thankfully, we are in a great position. I'm ready to go once again. We are ready to restart my career. I haven't gone anywhere. I've always stayed in the top 5 in the world. But now I'm looking forward to becoming the number one. That's something that I've always wanted to become world champion, but now I want to become the number one fighter in the division, and I'm working hard for it. I actually was pursuing the fight against Keith Thurman. He does have the WBA and the WBC World Championship. He chose not to take the fight against me. I mean, he said it clearly. Even with my long layoff, I was willing to fight Keith Thurman coming off that long layoff, but he wasn't ready because he had the injury and he wanted more time off. That's when I took the fight in December against tough fighter as well in their era. But after the fight, we assumed that we could possibly get in negotiations to fight Keith, and he still refused to fight me. So I got to give credit to Broner. Adrian Broner took on a challenge that not even Keith Thurman was willing to take. And for that reason, I have to give Broner credit. I know that he is a tough fighter that isn't scared of any challenges. He showed it before, and that's probably why he is a fan-friendly fighter. That's why the fans gravitate towards him, whether they hate him or like him. But, they still give him credit for being that warrior that's willing to fight any fighter. I mean, he fought Madonna, Mikey, he's willing to take on myself, Antonio DeMarco. He's been in some good fights. But taking the fight against me probably wasn't the best decision for him, but it was a good decision to be in a fan-friendly fight, and that's what we're going to give the fans come April 21st.
Now, of course, I mean, there's always the Keith Thurman fight. He holds 2 of the 4 world titles at 147 pounds, but you're also pretty highly ranked in the IBF welterweight rankings, and Errol Spence Jr. holds that title. I know he has a fight coming up in June, but after that, if, let's say, a fight versus Keith Thurman does not happen and you emerge victorious on April 21st, would a fight against Errol Spence Jr. interest you?
Definitely. I wanted to fight against anyone. I've shown you in the past. I'm always willing to take up any fighter in the division, especially if they hold the title. And for that reason, fight against Spence, that's his name, right? Spence, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman. I mean, we're in the mix, so it doesn't matter who it is against. I'm ready for all of them. But first, of course, we'll focus on Broner. I'm not looking ahead of my next challenge or next opponent, which is Adrian Broner, and I'm 100% concentrated on him. Once I come out victorious, then we'll plan ahead and we'll see what's next. But definitely, those are fights that can be made with all those fighters. Spence, you got Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman. Who's ever in the division, I'm open to fighting them. As long as the fans want to see it, as long as it gains attention from the fans, we'll make it happen.
Now, Keith, just wanted to sort of ask a similar question to that. So, when last year, obviously, Saddam Ali defeated Miguel Cotto to win the WBO title 154 pounds, and I was there at the post-fight press conference, and your name was certainly brought up. I don't remember if it was him or someone from the media, but your name was certainly brought up, and it was just maybe 2 weeks to the day 2 years ago where you beat Ali to win your second world title. Now, if, say, down the road, Ali still holds the title, would you be interested in perhaps having that fight again and having that rematch for that title, even if it means moving up another weight?
Listen, the thing is that when it comes to rematches, the person that is supposed to ask for the fight is the person that lost the first fight. And for that reason, I can't call him out if I already beat him. But if he wants to rematch, I would gladly give it to him. That would not be a problem on my end. But that's all up to him. If the fans want to see it, why not? I mean, the fight should be made. But we don't know how him and his team feels. I mean, I applaud him for coming out victorious against Miguel Cotto. It was a good fight. And I said before, if he's able to outbox Cotto and maintain that stamina, it would be possible. I mean, we shared the ring together. I know his style, and I know Cotto's style. But, he was able to come out victorious. Congratulations to him. And if he ever wants to do it again, give my people a call. We'll make it happen, of course.
Now, of course, going back to the fight, you're fighting Adrian Broner, a guy who has been highly successful, 4-division world champion, but he's also been pretty known to speak his mind and do a lot of trash talking. I know that's not exactly your style, but when you look at Broner and how he handles business, you kind of think that, with this particular matchup, maybe trash talking would take away a little bit from the great boxing fight on paper that you and Broner would present?
Not really. I mean, it might actually gain more attention from the fans. Whether people like it or hate it, it does have a fight gain more attention. And that's his style. That's the way he is. I was brought up a little different, and I'm a little more quiet than he is. But it doesn't matter what he's going to try to do. He can talk as much trash as he wants outside of the ring. They pay me to fight inside the ring and to come out with the victory inside that ring, and that's exactly what I'm planning to do. I'm going to do what I have to do, and I do my work inside that ring April 21st. And he can continue talking before or after. That's not going to throw me off my game plan. I'm sure that he's going to prepare in the best way possible, and I'm glad that he's in that position now where he's focused. That way, the fight will be entertaining, and the fans will love it. I mean, I'm a fan-friendly fighter myself, and I've always been proud of it, and this situation is no different.
Now, lastly, anything you want to say to your fans and supporters, or to those still maybe on the fence of buying a ticket to the Barclays Center or tuning into Showtime for this, what actually is a extremely solid triple header of fights?
Of course. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for all the support. And second of all, come out April 21st. You will definitely get your money's worth. It's going to be a fun night of boxing. And, I assure you, you're going to enjoy each and every one of the fights come April 21st at the Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. It's going to be a good night. And come out. Don't miss out. Don't miss this great opportunity of being part of this great event, great show. Thank you for the support.
Jessie, I want to thank you so much for your time. I know you might be very busy, deep into training camp with about a month left, and best of luck in your fight against Adrian Broner.